If your goal is to maximize muscle growth, you shouldn't be doing all of your sets in a higher rep range. If you don't believe me, try doing a set of 50 all out to failure versus doing 5 sets of 5. Coach Greg, and today we're going to be talking about why high rep sets are killing your gains. In talking about high rep sets, we need to define what exactly is a high rep set, and that is going to depend on the time it takes to do the set. If you do really quick reps versus really slow and focusing on mind-muscle connection, it is going to make a big difference in how long the set takes. 2 people could each do a set of 20. One takes a minute and a half, the other takes 10 seconds. And so what is a high rep set for one person, maybe not for another. If you're 6'6" doing squats, doing a set of 30 could take 2 minutes. But if you're 5'6" doing a set of calf raises, you might perform those 30 reps in 15 seconds. And so we can't just talk about the number of reps you perform for a set. It's going to depend on the range of motion of the set and how much of your body is being put into this work. Is it a compound movement or an isolation exercise? It's a lot harder to do a set of squats than it is to do preacher curls because there's a lot more muscles involved in a set of squats. This is going to cause greater systemic fatigue, and so a high rep set of squats is going to be a lot lower than a high rep set of bicep curls, calf raises, side laterals, and so on. But in general, a high rep set most likely for most people is going to be something in the range of 30, 40, 50 reps plus. And in looking at the research, it is quite clear that you can build just about the same amount of muscle doing lower rep sets as you can doing high rep sets. So why is it that high reps are killing your gains? After all, the research says they're both good for building muscle. Well, you need to consider other factors. For example, if you're trying to build muscle, you should be going between 0 to 3 reps from failure unless you're a complete beginner. And if you're doing sets of 30, 40 reps on the squats, it's going to be a lot harder to go to failure than it is if you're doing a set of 10. If you ask 2 sets of individuals to squat to near failure, 1 rep from failure, one has to do a set of 10, the other has to do a set of 40, what you're going to see is the person that has to do a set of 40 is going to have a lot more difficulty in trying to get that 40th rep than the person doing 10. So what happens is people who do a lot of high rep sets end up training further away from failure. The further away from failure you are, the less likely you're going to build muscle. You're just not creating that stimulus for muscle growth to occur. It's not that you can't, it's just that it's very hard to push yourself to true failure or close to it when doing high rep sets. So if you're going to the gym and your goal is to build muscle and you notice that most of your programming says to do 25, 30, 40, 50 reps, chances are you're not going to be training near failure. It would overall be too hard and cause too much systemic fatigue. Your body would be so tired from doing those high rep deadlifts, you wouldn't be able to keep doing set after set. Case in point, myself was training for the Guinness Book of World Records doing the deadlift. High reps. How many reps can you do in a minute? I could do 1 set on any given day to failure. 1 set, go as hard as I can, trying to do a set of 50 reps in a minute. But if I were to do 5 sets of 5, it'd be a lot easier. It's easier to do 5 sets of 5 with 1 rep in the tank than it is to do 50 reps, 1 rep in the tank. If you don't believe me, try doing a set of 50 all out to failure versus doing 5 sets of 5. It's way easier to do 5 sets of 5 than 1 set of 50. And so if you're only doing 1 hard sets versus 5 hard sets, who do you expect to build more muscle? And so be careful. If you're doing a lot of sets with a high amount of reps, you're probably going to have a difficult time pushing to failure. You might think you're going hard, but you're probably not. Doing 3 sets of 30 with 1 rep in reserve, very, very difficult to do. In comparison, 3 sets of 10, 1 rep in the tank, that's not so bad. Most people can probably push themselves to that extent. And so doing these high reps near failure or even not near failure, close to failure, 5 reps in the tank are going to create a lot more fatigue. Coupled with the fact that it's hard to mentally push yourself for that long, you're likely not going to be training as hard as you need. Your body might feel tired, feels like you had a great workout. Boy, I sweat so hard, I can hardly breathe after that set. I sure am going to grow a lot of muscle. Nope. You would have grown more muscle doing fewer reps and training closer to failure. Also, when doing higher rep sets, you have to rest longer between sets. If you do that set of 50 on the deadlifts and you take a 2-minute break, chances are you're barely going to have caught your breath. You have to do another set of 50, you're thinking, there's no way. But if you only did a set of 10, you might be able to rest for 2 minutes and go again. And so this ties into your work-rest ratio. On average, I tell most people that they should be resting 1:3 to 1:6 work-to-rest ratio. What does that mean? It means that if you took a minute to do the set, you should probably rest 3 to 6 minutes. If the set took 2 minutes, you should probably rest 6 to 12 minutes. If you're having to rest 6 to 12 minutes between sets, you're going to be in the gym all day if you're trying to perform 10 to 20 sets for each body part per week. That's the total number of sets for any given body part that you should be doing per week to optimally build muscle. If you're training each body part twice a week, that means you're doing 5 to 10 sets per body part. Imagine having to rest 6 to 12 minutes per set for each body part. You're going to be in the gym all day. So rather than doing a bunch of sets of 30, 40, 50 reps, better to do lower reps. But you may be thinking, but I really enjoy doing higher rep sets. I'm less likely to get injured. They feel better. I get a better pump. Yeah, that's all true. But if your goal is to maximize muscle growth, you shouldn't be doing all of your sets in a higher rep range. It's just not optimal for muscle growth. Doesn't mean you can't build muscle. It just means you can't build them optimally. Not everyone who trains at the gym wants to be a professional bodybuilder, wants to have the most amount of muscle. It's important to have fun to enjoy your workout. And so if you enjoy doing high rep sets, just understand that you can do them, but it's not optimal. You're still going to build some muscle, but eventually you're going to get to a plateau, a peak. You won't be able to get better. When you're a beginner, intermediate, you can get away with doing a lot. You don't need to train to failure all the time. It's not as difficult to build muscle. You have newbie gains. But after you've trained for a while, a couple of years, you go from being an intermediate, trying to get to an advanced level. You can't do all your sets 30 plus. Perhaps save the final set, the last set of the day. Do that for high reps. You're done all your normal sets, 10, 15, 20 reps, and you want to do a high rep set to finish it off, to pump a lot of blood to the muscle. That is a great time to do your higher rep sets. You're done for the day. You're not going to have to rest after. You're done. You could do a set of 50 reps, burn that muscle out, accumulate a lot of metabolic stress, and then go home. So it's not that you can't do high rep sets, it's just that it's not optimal to always do high rep sets in your training. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IFBB Pro. Please check out one of the bloops. Also, we have Harder Than Last Time supplements. You can get those by clicking the link in the description. The Circle Diet book. I have training books, cookbooks, all kinds of books. Click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, and until next time, I am out.